Gary, we're live and hey, good morning, 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I hope you're doing well today. It's a Friday. It's Fortune Cookie Friday here on the show where we open a fortune cookie later on. And today I want to talk about putting your team in trouble, anti-vacation, you can stay home when you're sick environment. Putting yourself in inability to produce product during your time boxes, your sprints, anytime. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And it really comes down to why would you want to create an environment where you had to stop production because somebody was out or took a vacation? So that's a topic we're going to have today. It is a Friday because vacation, summertime here in the States. I know down on the other side, it is more of a common cold or virus thing, God forbid, down in the southern hemisphere. So it rotates around. Cold's in the winter and vacations in the summer, right? Anyway, 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and we talk about Scrum and Agile in a practical and tactical way, so you can home your family and friends and enjoy what you do. And it's been a busy week here this week. So I think Tuesday we started a new program for the news. Next Tuesday's going to be a little different because I'm going to be taking a trip. So we'll see how that goes. It might be phone-based. No, it might be computer-based too. We'll see. See how that goes. And did the conversation with the Expert Agile Club the other day. And then yesterday I had some coaching sessions in the evening. So it was a full pack week for myself and a lot of news going on. And new windows after, my God, probably we're done in the 80s. Probably the 80s. So what's that, 40 years? Got new windows yesterday. It was a full day as I got out of the session yesterday. Anyway, all right. So what are we talking about, Greg? Why are you bringing this up? Because I'm amazed. You'd be amazed how many teams still get themselves stuck. Like polling your team. Okay, can anybody else do your job? A lot of places there's no. Like, it was funny. I had talked to somebody about that. You need to start making sure that more people on your team can do the other person's job. It may not be as well. It may be not as good. But what happens if they get sick? And lo and behold, 2 days later, the person's family members had got a virus, and the person who was doing development was going to stay home with their family, which is great. I had more power to them. I think that's the way it should be. Plus, do you really want them bringing it back into the office? No, you don't want the viruses and cold. You want you to stay home. But he was going to be busy all day because he's taking care of the other people. So that goes to the fact that you need to have everyone understand what they're doing. So we're going to talk about a couple things. Why sprint planning helps in that process, and how you solutionize and how you work out work helps that too. I heard some things the other day. I was watching them. Well, if your stories are so small, you don't need to subtest because they get done every day. If you're not giving one set of stories and one set of work to one person on the team, I would agree, right? You have to make sure different people on the team get their hands wet and dirty on different types of work. So let's first, before we get into the work part, let's talk about sprint planning a little bit. Sprint planning. One of the aspects of sprint planning is, one, identify what everyone on the team is going to be doing. So you need to do that, right? So everyone on the team needs to see what's going to be worked. Two, the second part. So the first part, be honest, we shouldn't take more than a half hour. It really shouldn't. It needs to take 15 minutes to do the first part of sprint planning, where everyone identifies what stories are going to work in sprint. Second part of sprint planning is where you start subtasking and solutionizing, kind of laying out the rough work that you're going to do to solve stories, these problems and stories. I personally think if your team is doing a story more than a day or two, I would subtask it. That's just my personal opinion. And the reason being because a lot of things, but that's just because it's going to take more time. What if they got sick, right? What if they had to take a vacation? What if something happened? Their kids got home from school or the bus broke down or something in school and they had to be home and had to take care of their children, they may not be there, right? So you want to be fast, you can tell where the other job, right? You don't have to start all over again and rework. But also lays out the solution. So maybe you can better figure out, not the subtasks, what code this, do that. Maybe you can have more than one person work on a job at the same time. This way they all get a feel for it. The other thing and why you do it that way is in the second part of sprint planning, everyone should share how their plan is to solve the problem, right? And this is where I created these subtasks and this task and this task to solve X, Y, Z. This way, everyone on the team has an idea of what your plan was to solve the problem. So if you go on vacation or you get sick or something gets delayed and vice president comes down and tells you I need this tomorrow and you got to drop everything and do that for tomorrow, at least the team knows where to pick up from and kind of knows where you left off. That's part 2 of the sprint planning. A lot of teams that aren't high performing don't do that, and that's something they need to do. So that's sprint planning. Sprint planning helps everyone on the team, in case of an emergency, know where you're going, what your plan was, and how you're going to solve the problem. So if they have to, they can come back and take up the slack. Part 2 is pair programming, right? Everyone talks pair programming, not just pair programming in a way of, quote, pair programming where you sit next to each other, but pair programming on solutioning the problem, where you take part of it, I'll take the other part. We'll get together every once in a while so we know how everybody's doing. This sets up the T, the cross, right? Maybe not the depth, but the cross. And later on, the T gets thicker and thicker over time, top of the T. But this way, everyone knows what everyone does. I have asked in the past, are you the only one, anybody in the room, are you the only one that could do what you do? When they raise your hand, well, you can't take vacation because you'll shut down production. That's a bad way of designing your team. As a Scrum Master, if you're doing that, you're doing it wrong, right? You're setting your team for failure. Your job as a Scrum Master is to help set your team up for success, not failure, right? And this stuff does happen. I mean, the other day, it just happened. Kids got sick. The person had to stay home, help his wife and kids. It's just what it is. So and now up here in the summertime, vacation, right? If you're not taking vacation and you're not letting your people take time off when they need to because you got to do something because no one else can do it but them, you have designed your system wrong. You're designing a work environment people are going to leave, right? Sooner or later, for the longest time it was, well, I'll do whatever you want. But now it's like, yeah, I can work, move, I'll relocate people more into the migration wherever the work is. It's now in the tech world, right? So you don't want to create an environment like that. I had years ago when I was young, back in the 90s, a Navy captain had said one day, his father had told him, says, look, take vacation. They give it to you for a reason. They want you to take it so you de-stress. So all the stresses and all the work you do, because working is stressful. I'm sorry. It's going to be stressful. Even if you have your own company, it's going to be more stressful, but there is stress. You got to take a break. You got to decompose. You got to, decompress on what's going on. You got to take your vacation. So that was one piece of advice. I listened to other people and other things. And even what I had another coworker years ago used to say, look, family are the only ones you have. They'll always be yours. You need to take time off to work with family and stuff like that. So that's the other thing. So just make sure you're building an environment where everyone can take some time off, not feel pressure to come into the office when they're sick, and build a very gloom and doom environment. So that's what I'm going to share about vacation because it's summertime. And the last one, Fortune Cookie Friday. Yay, it's Fortune Cookie Friday. So I'm going to open up the Fortune Cookie, see what the Agile accountants have given to us for us to read, relate to the show, the topic. Here's the Fortune Cookie. And applied to Agile. And it does have a fortune in it. Sometimes they don't. Quality control, right? All right, Fortune Cookie Friday. Make your life a mission, not an intermission. So your mission to go out and enjoy life and everything like that. Don't make it an intermission where It's just a break. But we were talking about a break. Take a break, take a vacation. I think you need a break every once in a while so you fully enjoy your mission. You can pump up and you can really continue your mission. Without those breaks, it's very hard to continue that mission. I'll go with that. How about that? All right, with that, have a great day. Happy Friday. Happy scrumming, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye. And see ya.